Okay, so yesterday we're asked to do research and get out our literature review matrix. So I'll just quickly go through what has been put down by everyone. So I have it here. So, okay, so first I'll look at Alvina's work. Alvina's work shows the authors, so 5 papers here. Yeah, so year publication 2024. Let's look at the first one. Authors, yes. Year publication, your objective to clarify how social media, okay. Okay, that's fine. Method, convenient approach to sampling, collect data, okay. Findings. Findings. We use the structural model to investigate. I think this should have been in your methods. This should go to your methods. So this one you gathered here was the data collection, but this is the data analysis. How did they analyze the data? So it's still part of the methods, okay, Avena? So this should not be here, but then, so even this is a show of the methods, right? It still shows the method. Let me see if I'll see what we managed to ascertain that both the validity and dependability of the provided measurement model were adequate. Okay. So this is not their findings. This is actually in research when there is analysis, especially using statistics, they always have a way of checking whether the data and the process used is valid. So this is still all part of their method and validity testing. So this is not what the findings. I'm sure your findings may be on this other end. Let me check. After all, it can be concluded that, yeah, so findings, and so yeah, they found that this is not a finding. We can't deny that's not what they found. Education is the most important. Okay, that can go for what they found out. So yes, the only challenge I have with this first one is the findings. What you have as findings is actually still an explanation of the methods. Do you agree with me, Alvina and Chiamaka, Juliet? Chiamaka and Juliet, please.
Yes, I agree with you.
Okay.
I'm still settling.
Okay, I understand. It's fine. Then the second one, the study was carried out to determine social media influence. Okay, awesome. Okay, awesome. Methods find the results reveal that participants use social media exactly. This is a good finding, right? So yeah, this is the finding. Then, okay, conclusion. Yeah, okay. So that's fine. Then the third one, okay. Author, yes. Yeah, the study aims to, okay, awesome. Researchers, oh, wonderful. Findings reveal that users of social media, oh, awesome. Great. So this is good. Jamal, study is an attempt to examine, well, okay. Empirical study, wonderful. The study reviewed that, yes, exactly. Okay, okay, that's good. And there's the research examines the extent, okay, for this online questionnaires, okay, the results showed exactly the results, wonderful. So this is good, this is good, this is good. So the next 2 persons' work we're looking at is Juliet's work. So Juliet wrote us out. She said she couldn't type it, so we'll just try to see how we can maximize it. So the author accurate, the year fine. The objective, the study aim to examine. Once you see that hold, yeah, fine. Method, primary research, literature review. Okay, so this was the only place I had a concern. It's possible they could blend primary research with literature review, but you should have explained what primary research was done. How was it done? That's very important, not just saying primary research. What exactly was done? The findings reviewed that okay. Then the second one to explore primary research again. That primary research is still not clear. You need to explain what it is. Participant reported that using the diminishes. Yeah, I understand this is what participant reported, but was that the final finding? Because sometimes in a qualitative research where they do interviews, you find out that they have a lot of things people said here on and then. So you have to be sure whether just reporting what one of their interviewees said, or is the final finding from the paper. You understand, Juliet? And then the finding, okay, suggests that, okay, so this finding suggests that it should be their finding. So most times, like I explained, the finding and conclusion is almost at the same place, right? So the second one, okay, number 2 is still there. Yeah, look at number 2. Number 3 is Fred, okay. 57, to know about social media users, primary research. So when you say primary research and literature review, I'm confused. Do they use the both of them together? You need to emphasize more on this, because when you need to do an analysis now and you're comparing methods, this will not help you because it's not saying anything. It's not really showing how they did it. If you want to look at the ups and downsides, this will not help you to make a good critical argument. And then the study found awesome. Awesome, okay.
So sorry, I had a lot of things to do.
Oh, no,
So
it's
I
fine.
didn't even know that it is too deep like that. I was thinking with this, I may come back and continue.
Okay,
But I've
but you
taken my
understand the point I'm
corrections.
making, right? You understand what I'm saying and why.
Yes, I do. I saw those things you are saying there. Just I
Oh,
didn't write it out.
okay, that's
I was
actually
thinking it's not too serious.
okay, I understand. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, the results gotten shows that yeah, exactly this is exactly. So you see, when you have results like this, especially what they are showing, when you want to write, this is when you want to. In fact, let me finish before I start talking further. Or now that it just got to me, let me say this so I don't forget. When you're comparing or when you're now doing this argument in support, remember what we did in the TO, the evidence. You now say this paper found that 97, do you understand? Blah, blah, blah. Exactly. This is how the evidence should show. Or it's usually the findings of the conclusion of paper that you use to support, right? So then, okay. Primary, okay. So every other thing is okay, Juliet. Just I'm not comfortable with the methods, and I understand what you said, so it's fine. Then Chiamaka, you didn't put it in a table. You also explained that to me, so I'll take that. So the author of fine, I see that year publication, yes. Objective, the study examines the impact of, oh, okay. Method, primary research, data collection of students using questionnaire 247 were sampled while 15 students were interviewed. Great. Finding, the results indicate that social media, okay, wonderful. Conclusion, social media growth. Then you added a link, wonderful. But you did only one. We asked for 5, but this shows that you understand what is done, but you didn't complete the assignment anyway. So let me add one thing. In your analysis of methods, everyone, I know I didn't say this yesterday, so I didn't expect anyone to do it. One thing is data collection, another thing is analysis. So most of the things we've been talking about and writing has been how they collected the data, but then how did they analyze it? Did they do the thematic analysis? Did they use SPSS or Stata or anything to analyze the information? So all of those things, but those are mostly, it's not that deep, but then just for you to know that. So mostly what we have here so far has been for data collection. In methods, a lot of things. We have philosophy, we have research design, we have data collection, we have sample, we have data analysis, we have ethical considerations, but I don't want to put all of those things on us right now. So let's focus on this. But then well done, everyone. I'm super proud. We all did an awesome job. Well done. Does anyone have any
Thank you.
question from the assignment? Something you feel you don't understand or you didn't clarify and it made it all difficult?
Ma, I have something like a question.
Okay.
Some of the articles I saw, I'm sorry, my voice is not clear. Please help me to manage it. Some of the articles I saw, like the methods were not straightforward. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like it's hard to pinpoint what exactly they did. So most of them is like they're focusing on the data collection, but like when you now want to see how exactly they conducted the research, you get a bit confused. So like how can we like easily differentiate between the data collection and the actual method that they used in the research?
Okay, so one thing I want to point out, first of all, data collection is part of the methods. There's no actual, it's just another component of data collection, of the method, right? So when you said what's the actual method, I just want to point out that data collection is part of the method. What you're asking of is the data analysis method, right? So I'm going to, let me go back to Google Scholar. Okay, no need to go too far. We have a link here. So let's go for this. Why is this no? Okay. Oh, you sent a link that's okay. So Chiamaka, if you're putting a link to an article, it should be the link to the direct article, right? So this is not an active link. It just sent us to, except you just wanted to show me the place where you searched out, right? But then if you're pinpointing, because the reason sometimes why you need to put a link in your matrix is so that when you click it, you can just go to the paper, right? So this link will not serve, but maybe to help you, but then it's important if you just have a link to the paper directly. So let me open this paper.
Ma, please, I'm not seeing your screen. It's still showing Chiamaka's matrix.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so but the explanation I was making was the link brought us here. So it's supposed to bring us to the actual paper, not the entire place, right? So that's just the point. So let's check this paper. I'm not sure they'll give us access. Let's see, but then let's use this and see. Okay, yeah, so data were collected from 27 students using a questionnaire. Further, 15 they were interviewed. So this is the data collection, right?
Yes, ma, yes.
Yes. Then for the quantitative and qualitative analysis, right? Multiple regression and thematic analysis were applied. This is the data analysis. So to analyze the quantitative data, they use multiple regression, which is one of these scientific statistic analysis tools. And then for the qualitative, which was the interviews, they used thematic analysis. So that's how you see. So if you see something like this one is very
Sorry, can
clear.
you say it again? Sorry to cut you short, ma. Sorry. The quantitative and qualitative, please. Can you just reemphasize?
Okay, so quantitative, when you see quantitative, just think of data, numbers, right? Just like this one that they said, and data was collected by participants through a questionnaire survey. So they are used, that's the quantitative data because it's survey. So they'll just fill and they'll take the number of who did what and who did not do what. But in qualitative, it was interview. So qualitative is more like interviews, focus group discussions, things like that. Talk. So to analyze the quantitative, which is the numbers, they had to use multiple regression. Multiple regression is one of the statistical analysis tools, just the way we have SPSS, Stata, RStudio, there are a lot of them, but multiple regression is one of the forms of analysis that you can do through those statistical methods. And then thematic analysis, just where I explained thematic literature review, that's still what it does. So it considers the interviews and looks at themes that came out from from all the interviews together. So that's how they analyze the data. Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so going back to, yeah, so
Okay, so
today,
I didn't get that qualitative that you explained.
okay, I said qualitative data is used to explain when you hear quantitative, let me start with quantitative. When you hear quantitative, just think of numbers. In fact, just say science students, that will help. And qualitative, just think of art students. Quantitative is more like numbers. They'll check numbers, statistics, and all of those things. But in qualitative, they're listening to what people said. That's why most of the time, qualitative is usually interviews. They'll collect data through interviews, focus group discussions, and all of that. I don't know if it's any clearer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so today we are looking at referencing. God help us. So we achieve. Now, in referencing, there are two key ways. There are two things for you to bear in mind in referencing. We have citations, then we have the reference list. These are the two forms or two components in referencing anything you're doing. Now I'm going to explain. Remember when you were doing the TIL and you were giving your evidence, you say according to this and that. That thing you put was just the name and the year, right? Please, I'd like us to respond so we move together. Avina is not feeling so well, so I'm expecting Chiamaka and Juliet to do more of the talking. Okay, so citations is just that. Is the name and the year. So you see, you're not going to put the journal, the article, and plenty stories. You don't need all those things. All you just need is the name of the authors and the year. That's what citation requires. Name of author or authors. Plus year of publication. Okay. Now, okay, let me do some before we go into that. There are different referencing styles that will determine everything, right? So we have different referencing styles that will determine what you do and how you do it. The reason why I had to come to that is because there are some referencing styles that will not allow you to do in-text citation inside. They will require footnotes and other things. So those ones, you will not even say according to this. You just write what you say and put that footnote one at the top. I don't know if anybody's understanding what I'm saying.
No,
Yes,
ma.
ma'am.
No understanding.
Okay, so let me say my name is Precious, right?
Okay.
In some cases, some referencing styles, you hear according to according to let me say Alvina 2025. Let me assume I don't know my name. My name is Precious, okay? Now there are some referencing styles that allow me to do this. I'm going to explain which one and which one. There are some that won't let you do that. Some of them will say, my name is Precious. Now, this is what somebody said. Or you can just say, either you just say it like that, or you say it has been shown that my name is Precious. Or okay, so that it will be seen that it is an evidence. It's not what you're saying on your own. It has been proven that my name is Precious. So here now, you didn't see any name, but what will happen is at the end of that statement, you're going to insert a footnote. Oh, I don't always use system for footnotes. Where is that footnote right now? Okay. Who uses footnotes on systems a lot? It's supposed to be around here, but just not to waste our time. Okay, yeah, references should be here. So insert, this is endnote, this is footnotes, right? So insert footnotes here. So once you insert footnotes, you see what it does. You now go and say Alvina 2025. But you not just stop here because it's no more in the body of the work. You now put the entire reference, the title, everything, will be there. That's how some are, right? So I'm going to copy this and put it at the top so that we understand it better, right? So now, some people allow you to do this, others require this. And for some of people, they are just different styles. Now, so the major reference styles we have Harvard referencing style. Harvard referencing style, it's the one that allows you to do this. For the purposes of referencing, teaching referencing styles can take a lot. So I'm just going to give you information that will help you understand the basics. So I won't go too deep. So there are some questions or some things I won't bring out now, just so that you understand. As we proceed, you will understand more and you can ask questions, okay? So Harvard referencing style, this is what it does. It's mostly used by a lot of people into some humanities, some depends, management courses. They like to use this, and it's a very popular one. So Harvard referencing style allows you to do this as citation. And then the reference list is different. Now that's the Harvard referencing style. Then we also have the APA, or some people call it APA. It's mostly for social sciences, psychology, sociology, but then most sciences use it. Now, it's almost like the Harvard as well. So you do the same thing for the Harvard. The only difference is in specifics that I don't want to introduce you to now, so you don't get confused, right? And then we also have OSCOLAR. This is one used by lawyers. So most of the time when you see footnotes, it's usually a legal write-up that you see things like this. There are many more. There are many more than this. But these are the three most popular, especially in terms of what we do. And so I'm going to just mention the others without going into detail. So for the purposes of the training today, we'll only look at Harvard, APA. We may not even necessarily do a scholar. I want you to just focus on Harvard and APA. We have other ones, but other ones we have are like, we have MLA, we have Chicago, just a lot of things. Differences are just small differences. We have Vancouver, you know, just like that. That's just how it is. But basically, this is how it works. So, okay, I think I was on the right track. I should have explained the citation and this thing first. So let me keep going with this, right? So for, oh, don't do that. So for citations and references, they are basically the two ways to have, when you want to talk of sourcing or your evidence, just think of citations and reference lists. Now your citation is just like it says, cite, to cite something. So it's in the body of the work. You're just drawing attention to that as your evidence in the body of your work. While the reference list is usually at the end of your work, you just write out all the sources that you used, all the evidence that you mentioned in the body of the work. So this one is while mentioning the evidence in the body of the work, right? While this at the end. So the reference list is usually at the end. So do we understand the difference I'm making between citations and reference lists? I would like to hear two thoughts on it. Who understands what the difference I'm making between the citation and the reference list?
Okay, if I understand citation, you said it's written in the body of the writing, while reference is at the end of the writing. That's one of the difference.
Okay, yeah,
I don't know
that's
if-
correct. Okay. Any other one? Any other thoughts? Okay, well, you have done well. So basically, that's it. So we have citations and we have reference lists. Now, citations is and the references, they all determined by the referencing style, just like I've explained earlier. So the referencing style will determine what you use and how you use it. So let's go into citations for each of the referencing style, right? For citation in Harvard, just as I've already explained, you just do this. According to Alvina, blah, 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 my name is Precious. This is the citation. That's the citation, right? So I'm going to point here. Citation, that's for Harvard, right? Then in the reference list at the end, okay, I didn't even explain what the reference list contains. Let me do that. So just the way I explained that for citation is the name of the author and the year of publication. For reference list is a lot of other things. It's like everything you need to find that paper. So for a paper now, let's say the paper that Alvina wrote that actually tells the world what my name is. So you're going to have the name of the authors, name of author or authors, because sometimes one person will write, date of publication, title of the paper, journal of publication, journal issue, issue and parts. I'm going to explain that to us. Pages and then link. So let me use plus so you know that it's not optional. For this link, I'm just going to add DOI link, so it will be better to understand DOI. So let me just explain them before I go into showing us what it's like. So we already know the name, the authors had the names and all of that. We already know that. We know that. But then, oh, true. Now, one thing I want you to point out, to note in this citation is, it's only the surname that is taken. But in research, it is called last name, not surname. Last name. It's only the last name that you take. So my name is Precious Azubike. So you're going to have Azubike. Now for this Alvina, it's not going to be Alvina because Alvina is her first name. Alvina, please, can you provide your last name?
Chiemeka.
Good. So it is Chiemeka 2025, not Alvina. Because in research, the name that is used is the last name, not the first name. So you're going to have last name of author, but in the reference list, you have name, both the names, in fact, everything, the names and the initials. The names and the initials. Names and initials. So for instance, we should have, if Alvina wrote this paper, we'll have Chiemeka Chiemeka. Then after this, the name, you've always put a comma because usually if you recognize when you're filling forms, and you're putting your surname first, you always put a comma or your last name first. So yeah, that's how it's supposed to go. So Chiemeka, then Alvina, her name is Alvina to be A. You're not going to write it out. But then this applies to most key references like APA, Harvard, or Scholar. When you come to things like Chicago and MLA, some of them write out the full names. Even Scholar writes out the full names. But the one we use a lot in major research is Harvard APA. So please take note of that. So you have Chiamaka A, which is our initial, right? Then the year of publication. So we will agree that she published it in 2025, right? If it's APA, you put a full stop. In most Harvards, so you put a full stop. In some, you don't. But so I'll just suggest you stick to a full stop for now. As you go deeper, you know the differences. So just put that full stop. So we'll put the name and initial of the author, the date of publication, the title of the paper. Avina, please, what's the title of your paper?
Names of Nigerian women.
Okay, so let's say this is the title of our paper, right? So you put the title of the paper. Once you put the title of the paper, the next thing is the journal. Now, let me explain what journal is. Sometimes when you write, it's only textbooks that people will just write and just go and publish with their publisher and they like it. But most peer-reviewed papers, they are published in journals. So I'm just going to take us out to show us what journals look like before I ask Alvina to give me a journal that she likes, maybe a journal that is related to women, gender issues. Okay, so let me do this. Right, so if you come to this place, oh, wonderful. So you see the examples of the journals, the kinds of citation style. So your Google Scholar, this is how you see, these things you see here, they are the citation styles. I didn't show you how to collect it. So this, if you want to cite a paper, you can click here. You want to save it. So mostly if you come to cite, you see the different citation styles. You can copy any one and then add. So you see APS. So, but for this paper, look at the journal, International Journal of Education Management. The same thing here. So you see what I was explaining before. APA, you see the name and just the last name and the initial. Look at Chicago, they are not doing the same. They are putting the last name, the first name, and all the names are there. Harvard, just like APA, almost very similar, right? But then I don't want us to get confused a lot. Maybe at your time, you could go and be studying this, but if I start on it, we're not going anywhere tonight. So I'll let that be. What I just want to show you is this is, oh, it doesn't want to let me copy. So this International Journal of Educational Management, that's the journal. So a journal is usually a compilation or not necessarily a compilation. So most journals are annually. Some of them are biannually. Some of them, they just publish the journal. I don't know if maybe in your undergraduate days, there were, journals that were published by your faculty or something like that. So like in my faculty, we had an annual journal that was always published. And so every year, lecturers will be allowed to write, even students, if they have to write, they will write on articles. They will publish it in the journal. So they'll select and publish in that journal. Now, this title is the name of the journal. Now, when I talked of the journal issue, the issue is the 37. Now, to understand issue is more like a journal may be dealing with different parts, different topics at the same time, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake there. Let me correct that. So it's usually parts before the issue. The issue is, let me put that right. I hope I'm not mixing it up over familiarity. You do this every day. And at some point, you begin to forget what you're doing, right? So So this is actually to explain the parts. Like I said, the journal in my university then was published every year, right? So it has part 1, part 2, part 3. So this is 37. It means that this is the 37th publication of this journal. Then issue 2. Usually in journals, they will list the publications. So if there were 50 people that wrote articles, they'll just list them out. The first article that is on that page is issue 1. The second one is issue 2. It's just like the things that they treated, the topics. So those are the issues, right? So you have part 37, issue 2. So Alvina, back to you. Yes, so back to you, please. What journal do you want? Yes, what's the journal?
Journal of Women in Science.
Mine in science, God, please. Oh. Journal of Women in Science. Now, most times this is usually italicized, but so that you don't crack your head too much, you can just go to Google Scholar to help you with the italics and all of that. Women of Journal in Science. Yeah, what part? Is this your first publication? Is this your second?
Let's say 2.
Okay, part 2.
Second, yes.
Part 2, and then what's the issue?
Issue 5.
Issue 5, great. Now, then in the entire journal, you also have to point out the pages of that particular article. So usually if it's issue 1 or 2, it should be in the front pages. If it's later, it should be at the end, So it's just like the page. So Alvina, in what pages of this journal, this particular part of this journal is your article featured?
Okay, let's say 21 to 23.
Pages what?
21 to 23.
So your journal is 2 pages. Okay, but journals are usually more than that. Articles, rather. Papers are usually more than that, but I'll take this for the illustration. So I'll take this again, and I'm going to ask all of us to do it. So this is the author's name and initial, the year of publication, the title of the paper, the name of the journal, the parts of the journal, the issue of the journal. Issue is the number in the list of the things that were published. What's the number of that? Like the way they list out table of contents, kind of. So the issue is where does it fall, the particular paper you're talking of. Then the pages in the whole journal. Now, you're not going to bother yourself looking for all of these details. Once you go to Google Scholar, you get the citations and you're good to go. Does it make sense? Alvina, Juliet, Chiamaka.
Yes, ma.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Chiamaka, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to call on you, Juliet. You're going to do 1. I'll write for you. Chiamaka, you do the same thing. So let's do that quickly. And just tell me what you're writing and I'll write it for you. And we can proceed. If you want to be your publisher, fine. If you want another person to be the publisher, whatever you choose, you can even collaborate. Okay, you know what? Alvina and no, Chiamaka and Juliet, you collaborate as 2 people to publish a paper. So how do I start? Who is the lead publisher? That's usually the first name. Although sometimes it does not matter, but most cases, yes. So who should I start with?
Okay,
Chiamaka.
can start with Okonkwo C.
Okay, Okonkwo. See, I see you have 2 middle names, so you can put them, okay? As far as their initials, they will go. Your first name,
Okay,
and like this, it goes. And
okay,
since
yeah.
there are 2, if you're using APA, you're going to use AND. If you're using Harvard, you're going to use AND like this. Please note that.
Sorry, I didn't see. I wanted to highlight something. I didn't see what you just did.
I said, if you have more than 1 author, right, and you want to put them in the reference list, if it's APA referencing style, you use AND as in the symbol AND. It also happens in the board in your citation. Even in your citation, once it's inside a bracket and you're using APA, your AND should always be the symbol AND like this. But if it's Harvard, you just need to write out, and you may not take it all in now. Take your time, one step at a time. As we practice, we'll learn more. But I just wanted to point it out at this point. Okay, so Juliet, you're up. Next author.
The same surname.
Ah,
The
okay.
JD.
Okonkwo who? JD.
JD, yes.
JD. Okay, job description. Okay, good. Wonderful. So, in what year did you publish this, your paper?
Let's say 2024.
Yeah.
So, what's the next thing that we are going to write?
Title of the paper. Title.
Title, okay. What's the title?
I'm thinking of it. I don't even know. Anything, Kai.
I should write
Spell it.
anything, Kai. Noted.
No,
Okay, not
that's not
anything,
what I
Kai.
mean.
No, it
Children.
could be a title. I'm just saying. Okay.
Religion in Nigeria.
Religion. Oh, religion. Okay. Okay, so what's the next thing we are writing now?
Journal of the Public.
Yeah.
What does that mean, please? Chiamaka and Juliet, the journal of publication. What does that mean?
Either is our first journal or second journal that we publish. I don't know if I'm.
I think it's the
Chiamaka?
journal where the article was published.
Yes,
A
please.
particular journal.
Yes. So Juliet, the journal is the name of the journal itself where it was published. We've not gotten to that one you're explaining is the part.
Okay.
So what journal? Journal of International Women Affairs. No, it can't be if we're talking religion. So most times the journal, your title determines where you publish, because some journals are specific to topics, right? So Journal of
Journal
Faith.
of
Let me help you people.
Thank you.
Yeah. Journal of Faith. Okay. So which parts in terms, what parts, please, Chiamaka, what's part? Juliet, you've pointed. So I want to hear Chiamaka's explanation of the parts.
Let's do part one.
Okay, so what do you mean by part one? What does it actually mean?
I think when you said part one, I think journals are written.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I think part one, I think it means as in journals are written in different various parts, I guess.
So if it's part
I don't
one,
know.
what does it mean?
At the
Juliet, do you
beginning,
have an idea? If it's part one, what does it mean to be part one?
Okay, that's the first journal that is published with
Yes, that's
like
actually the first of the publication of this journal. So this is the first time this journal is publishing. That's what it means. So for Alvina, that was the second time this journal was publishing something. So Chiamaka, I don't know if you get that explanation. Chiamaka, are you with us, please? Can anyone hear me, or am I? What happened? Can anyone hear me, please?
yeah, I
yes,
can hear you now. I think it was network.
Okay, I think so too. Okay, so Chiamaka was asking if you got the explanation, if you understand.
Yes, I did. So an article can actually be published, like it can be the 10th time that particular journal is publishing. Oh,
We have
fifth time
1,000.
or seventh
But
time, right?
some journals, we have over 1,000. Journals that have been in existence for a long time, have not been publishing. So they've been counting on and on and on. So that actually helps them to track what they're looking for, right? Yeah, so you can have 1,005, it all depends on how old the journal is. Okay,
Okay,
so
I get
I
it now.
have a question.
yes, please go
This
ahead.
this journal that we write second for Alvina, then first for ours, does it mean that it's the same topic of journal, but maybe it is the second edition or the third, but it's still going to be like the same title, or is it a different? I don't understand the aspect of being either first or second. Does it mean that it has the same title, but it has been written like 2 or 3 different times? I
Okay,
don't know if
I understand you. So I think the best word you used was that edition. I think that solves the problem for the parts edition. So usually it's the same title, just like saying we are publishing we now launch a journal of women in science, and every year we are publishing. So the first year we launch it, the maiden edition is part 1.
Okay.
The second
Okay.
year you're publishing the same with the same journal, the name is not changing. It's the second
Okay.
time you're doing it. Second edition, part 2. Right?
Yes, ma'am. I think I understand now.
Okay. Okay, so what next? What do we do from here?
That next one self is confusing too. That's journal part. Abi? This one that is 5 for Alvina. What's the difference between it and the 2? Because that's the next thing we are supposed to write.
The journal issue. Can anyone explain that? I've explained it. I would like anyone else to try and explain.
I think that's like, I don't know how to explain it better, but I think like maybe maybe let's say it's a textbook, the chapter it is in the textbook, like chapter 5 or something, like inside that same textbook. I don't know how else to explain it.
Okay. Alvina, do you have something to say? Alvina, are you with us? I want to hear your thoughts on the meaning, the explanation for the journal issue. Okay, I think our network is bad. So what I explained was that the journal issue is the number in terms of numbering, the way they outline the articles, just the way they have table of content. So the way it was outlined, it may not be called table of content. They'll just write issues as the heading, and then they'll list all the articles. And then they'll list all the articles there, right? So the number of which it appears, that's the issue. Can we hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Gloria, please, can you mute yourself? Okay, just give me a second.
You don't say that. Don't be quiet.
Gloria, please, can you mute yourself? I can't mute you from here. Okay, thank you. Please mute yourself. Okay. So the explanation I just made, I don't know if it's clear. Is it clear?
Yes, my it's clear.
Okay.
It's clear.
So please decide what your issue is.
Let's say issue 3.
Okay. I wonder what issues 1 and 2 we're talking about, the title. Okay, so yeah, so what pages would that appear?
15 to 20.
15 to 20. Okay, so one more thing I need to explain here. You see when you have PP, sorry, you need to have at the end, PP at the end. When you have PP, it's Harvard. In APA, you don't put anything, you just put the page. You understand? So if it was, let's say this is, although this is, okay, let me write people's own in APA, right? APA, you have this and, right? You have the page, you not put PP, you just go straight. But this is Harvard. So let me say Harvard. So in Harvard, if there were two names, you just use and. Let me just so that it's clearer. And Malvin, I'll double you up just for emphasis. What's happening? Okay, so this is Harvard, is and you have PP. But in APA, you have symbol and then you don't have any PP or anything. You just go straight to have the pages. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that clear? Yes, please. Okay, so once you do this in the reference list, you just list them. Now, one thing to note in the reference list is you note its alphabetical order. You don't just randomly note. So for this now, it's correct because C comes before O. So you arrange it in alphabetical order completely. And then in APA format, usually there is the use of you use tab, there's a way it's written. So this usually in APA is always like this. So I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but in Harvard, you don't do that tab. You just go ahead and write the next reference. Go ahead. But in APA, once you write it, you have to use the tab. And so the next one will come this way. And, just the same process. Let me put gibberish for want of time. So you see what's happening here? You see what's happening here? This is how APA reference list looks. But in Harvard, you just write one, enter, write the next one, no tabs. No, you don't need to tab it. Everything is okay. So that's basically it for citations and references. Please tell me if you're on the same page. Do you understand all I've said? I'd like someone to summarize, and then I'll give assignments and we'll go home. Hello? Can someone summarize? Okay, you know what? We're all going to summarize it. So Chiamaka, you go, then Juliet, then Alvina. Summarize all we've done today as fast as possible in the shortest time. Let me know what we've done today.
Everybody has left too.
Happen is there
Maybe,
a network problem or emergency network problem?
maybe from their own end. Let me
Okay.
just explain before
Yes,
they
please
join
explain.
because of time. Okay, you say in referencing, we have three types of referencing, but for the purpose of this class, we will focus on two. There's Harvard referencing and APA. And for Harvard referencing, the citation that is in the written in the body of the research work, the name of the author is written is just the last name That's surname, but is called last name in research. So, but when you're writing it in reference, you start with the surname, then the other names will be in initials. That's full stop. But if it's just one name, that's a surname. Okay, even in the recitation, when you write the surname, okay, in the reference, write the surname, you write comma, then you now put the initials with full stops in between. Then you now write the year, the date of publication. I'm explaining for Harvard reference. You write the date of the publication in brackets, then the name, the title of the paper that is being written, then the name of the journal. Then if it's the first for publishing or the second, that's under the parts of the journal. It's written. Okay, no, with publishing the journal, right? Either is the first or the second after you've written the name of the journal. Then the issue is like the outline. What number of outline is the particular topic of the reference in the journal? It can be 1, 2, 3, any of them. Then it's written in bracket. Then you say if it is for Harvard referencing, there's need of PP. That's the paper page, like the this in the spaces it occupies in the journal, like how many pages does it cover? That's the PP, that's the paper page. For Harvard, you indicate maybe 21 to 23, 21 to 20, 20 to 22 to 25, depending on the number of pages it covers for the particular topic in the journal. But for PAP, after, if it is two names, there will be the first name will be written, the last name first, then comma, then the initials. Then to be written in the and will be in symbol, not in letter. Then you repeat the same thing. The difference is the PP will not be in PAP like it is in the Harvard. Then the spacing too. Said in Harvard, there is no need of space of giving a space from the next reference. You continue in the same pattern. But for the PAP, after the first reference, you give a little space before you continue with the next referencing. I think that's a little I can catch up with everything about the referencing.
Okay, well done, Juliet. Just to point out one thing, there are more than three reference styles. We have Harvard, we have APA, we have Oscola, we have MLA, we have Chicago, we have Vancouver. There are more than this even, so they're not three. But yes, well done. And then some of the things you've said, okay, noted. Let me hear from you, Chiamaka, and then I did be show us where to get the link. So I'll show us where to get the link and we'll go. Chiamaka, something that she has not said, please, for once of time. Oh, Chiamaka is not here. Okay. Okay, so Alvina, please.
Okay, you also mentioned that the reference list should be in alphabetical order. I'm not sure if Juliet mentioned that. And the reference list should be in alphabetical order.
Okay, thank you. Well
That's
done. Okay, so let me quickly show us how to get the DOI. But before I do that, please, after now, go back to your Google Scholar and observe and understand some of these things. Okay. So let me say this is the document, the essay we are looking at. So when you open the essay, you scroll through it, you're supposed to see Okay, do we see this? Please let me know if you see
Yes,
what I'm.
ma'am.
Yes. So this is the DOI. So you see this link. If you paste it anywhere, whenever you click on it, it will bring you to this document. So that's the last thing that was missing from what we did. So I was hoping somebody would say, oh, we've not put that, but then it's fine. So you just always copy it and add there. It's the icing on the cake that makes everything beautiful. And it actually shows that your work is credible because anybody can just click. So this is how your full reference list should be, complete like this. So that's it. So our assignment for this today's task is go back to the 5 papers you got from yesterday, the one you did the literature review matrix on. Get the full reference list, right? Write how you're going to, for citation, just write it out, how you do